Okay, welcome everybody, and thank you very much for your time, the time that you want to spend with us. We're gonna have very interesting 20 next minutes. And why will it be interesting? First of all, I think the topic, reshaping cities and communities through digital transformation, I think it's a topic that is in the heart of everything that is happening here, but also because we have quite an interesting panel bringing together different stakeholders from different backgrounds, but all working towards the same purpose. I'll do a quick round introducing Helen, you first. So, Deputy Head of Unit of the AI for Societal Goods unit at DG Connect, European Commission, so which is part of the AI office. But I also saw like your whole career, basically you've been very busy with emerging technologies, innovation, scaling innovation, and so on. So, welcome, Helen. Ernesto, Head of Smart Cities and Data Management at the City of Valencia. But at the same time also the chair of the EDIC, we'll go into that, a very important catalyzer, if I can call it like that, of smart cities and digital transformation. And then Arnis, here next to me, a director of the Riga Digital Agency, but also representing the Living in EU movement, Living in EU movement that has the beautiful mission to support digital transformation across all the levels of government. And
Finished?
voila, that was it. Thank you very much. Voilà. Okay. The start of digital transformation is a good PowerPoint, and voilà. No, Helen, let's kick it off. I was thinking about like how to introduce the first question to you, and then I saw on LinkedIn something that really spoke to me, in the sense that you say that you have a passion for putting in place digitally driven services, but to make an impact, improving the lives of European citizens. And now you're in a position in the European Commission to really make that happen. What is the strategy of the Commission in this respect?
Thank you very much, Hilda. Thanks for the opportunity to speak about this here in your booth. So the Commission has, since a long time, trying to, first of all, build capacity in cities. This slide is going to come later, so don't focus on the slide also, Andrew. So first of all, building capacity in cities. And that's really about infrastructure, first of all. I mean, you need connectivity to be able to do anything with digital transformation. You need cloud, you need training of people. I see that as a sort of infrastructure as well. People need to understand technology. You need to also build capacity, understanding of digital in the cities, management, the mayors, and so on. If you can embed in the city's management the importance of digital, you also unlock budget for these issues, and they can also take it into account in the strategy. Then we have, after building capacity, you also build tools. So we have been building tools together with organizations such as Living in EU, tools for the cities to, if they have now identified that digital transformation is important, then you also start to look at like what do I need to do in my city to make digital transformation happen. You can make up digital roadmaps, and we have been supporting cities to do that, to identify what kind of strengths and weaknesses you have, what can you build on, what are you lacking, and then embed that in the strategy. And on top of that, you probably need to procure things. You need to use the budget you might have unlocked to procure connectivity or other tools needed. And we have also put in place that through, and we actually displayed that last year here in Barcelona, procurement help desk that will help cities to procure these services in a way to avoid vendor lock-ins, etc. So this is all about the journey. And then now, like recently, we are pivoted more towards AI, of course, because that's what's happening now, and it's accelerating, and really focusing more on what's coming, which is the Cityverse ethic, is the vision, where we're going, building local digital twins that you can use to for urban planners to interact with the management of the cities as well as the citizens to visualize and concretize the projects that you need to do to improve. And we launched in the fair now this week the Cityverse ethic in an operational form. It has been in the making for a couple of years, but we have now come to the stage that we actually have operationalized this activity and also giving them structures to work with, such as the local digital toolbox, which is a real infrastructure that cities will be able to use to build their own digital twins. So that's my answer to your first question.
So, thank you, Helen, for that and for making it also very tangible. You mentioned the EDIC, and we heard already today just by walking around that the EDIC seems to be the topic of the day. Many people talk about it, but still, and then Ernesto, maybe to you, it's good to maybe demystify it a little bit at the same time, and especially also explaining a bit where you are today with the EDIC and what the plans are.
Thank you for your question. First, I would like to ask you, how many of you don't know what's EDIC? Nobody. So everybody, yeah. So take your seats. Next couple of hours, I will explain you. We have only 20 minutes in total. So EDIC, born a year ago approximately, we celebrated the first General Assembly. I was appointed as the chair. And during this year, we have carried out a lot of things. One of them is to launch a project with the Commission to set up the EDIC. And with that, what we are doing is to prepare a kind of service catalog for the cities so as to make it interesting to be part of the EDIC. Our goals are, on the one hand, to collaborate to create a solid ecosystem of smart cities and communities around Europe. So we are one of the pieces of the puzzle here, but fortunately for us, I can see the EDIC always in the middle of everything, so it's good for us. And apart from creating or collaborating to create this ecosystem, we try to create a solid infrastructure of assets, and one of them will be the EU LDT toolbox that we presented yesterday. For us, yesterday was a very relevant day because on the one hand, we signed the contract for the director that will carry out his tasks during the next 3 years. But on the other hand, we presented the toolbox that will be one of the main assets that will be managed by the EDIC. So with this toolbox, we have here the technical leader of the toolbox, well, the leader of the toolbox, Patricia. So cities will be able to carry out their projects for digital twin and Cityverse in an easier way, because they will have a set of tools that, in a way, will make it easier. So this will be another of the objectives of the EDIC. But apart from that, I would add to reuse outcomes from other projects that before, when they came to an end, they were forgotten. And now we try to not to reinvent the wheel every time, to avoid repetitions, and to create this ecosystem of infrastructures that some of them come from previous projects and some of them will be created.
And maybe to build on that, before we go to our third panelist, how does the city engage with the EDIC? How does that work in the best way?
In the beginnings, EDICs need countries, member states. So up to now, we have worked 14 member states that are part of the EDIC. One of them is Latvia, and the representative city of Riga, by the way. And up to now, we have created the legal entity that will be support to that. But now we have started to engage cities. And for that, we need to create an interesting catalog of services. And now that we have the director operating, we will start with engaging cities. For that, we will ask the cities for a fee because EDIC should be sustainable. If not, we should close the door and finish. And this is expected to have long life because it's not a project that will end in 5 years. So EDIC is for the long term. And for that, we will need cities that will collaborate, providing fees, but also participating in projects that we will launch.
Okay, clear. So that's actually the perfect bridge here. So City of Riga is already engaged in the EDIC. I understood.
Yes,
Yes.
we are in. We are
Okay.
in this.
And what are for you like the key takeaways? Has that accelerated your digital transformation journey?
My full true belief is that yes, for sure, but and also the those goals and ambitions for the EDIC program in overall, they are like long term with a long term perspective on from the city and city perspective, and I believe there will be like huge benefits for sure.
Maybe only one thing. Riga is not only a member; it's one of the 3 founding members because for starting a multi-country project, we need at least 3.
Yes, and
After
we
that,
were there.
some of the others have joined, but
Okay. So a power stakeholder then of the EDIC.
We can say so, yeah.
Exactly. Now, Helen already mentioned living in the EU as a key initiative that amplifies the impact that all of these initiatives can have. So you're also driving living in the EU. Can you say something about its mission and how it fits in the whole ecosystem?
Our let's say journey or a digital transformation journey started already like I would say 20 years plus ago, but then was a second wave or new wave with joining the European networks, and it was significantly open many doors to the partnerships, to the friendships with the cities and experience sharing. We are quite late on this. I should admit, but at the same time, we have a lot of opportunities to learn from the experienced partners. And we jumped in the last part of the train, but we are in, and we are gaining very much on from this, and I believe we can make the same distance in a much shorter term, and it's one of the first things when we after the joining living in EU and Eurocities networks was that we made the Lordimus assessment tool, which was a very good tool to assess the situation where we are. What is our digital maturity level as a city? And I was expecting the higher results, but we got like 50%. I was expecting hopefully between 60 and 70%, but we got like 50, like straight 50, right?
You get that at school, it's
Yeah.
not exactly comfortable.
I was personally, I was expecting more, but for this year, we just filled this Lordimus assessment tool for the second year already, and we will see. But the main thing is that exactly on the same time, we were working on a digital strategy for the city, and from this Lordimus tool, we were able to take very useful points and directions and suggestions where we should focus on to build like really like to do it in a smart way. And this is something what I'm promoting for every city in Latvia, and not only for Latvia, also here. So it's really helps. and it's like one of the biggest benefits beside the funding options and the friendship and experience sharing. It's very practical tool which gives like a good base for every city.
No, thank you for that. And yeah, the time really flies. So, but there's one question I actually have for each of you. But I wanna start with Helen. And you mentioned digital maturity, because the ecosystem of cities across Europe, it's not homogeneous. There's huge variability, and we all know that there is a correlation between the digital maturity of a city and the prosperity, the opportunities for growth for citizens and for businesses in that city. So there is a very clear societal purpose to this. Now, especially for, I would say, cities with a lower digital maturity, if you would need to give them like one piece of advice, like how can they best have positive impact and added value from all the good initiatives that are here? Because what we sometimes hear when talking to our clients across Europe, many of them cities, there is a certain complexity to the landscape as well. So would you have a recommendation for a city on how to approach that?
I think to join networks like Eurocities that Riga did is a very good start, because then you can leverage their own network and other cities' experience, best practices, and to sort of jumpstart your own, and you don't have to start from scratch. I think that's the first message. Then in the EDIC, I mean, I think we will really strive to be inclusive there as well. It's very important for EU perspective, and I'm sure for everyone is in the EDIC that we include everyone. So if we can continue things like the procurement health desk or the digital maturity assessment as a vehicle to enter the EDIC, and then you can sort of place them to the right entity for support. Either if you're advanced, you can continue with your digital twins and so on in the EDIC, or maybe you just need to build certain capacity skills and so on. So I think that EDIC can be useful there, but also what we have is across whole of Europe and in all regions, more than 200 digital innovation hubs, European ones, that will help with this as well. So there are two entry points, networks like Eurocities, European digital innovation hubs that can also guide to the relevant resources across Europe.
Oh, thank you. Very useful. Ernesto, anything you would like to add? Like,
Easy for me. Join us. Join the EDIC because it will be good for especially for the cities, but also for the industry, because at the end of the day we will work with the industry. But connecting with what Helen has just said, so for this we can do it alone. We can do it alone. We expect to have synergies with different initiatives, and I would say if you want to go fast, you could go alone. But if you want to go farther, you need to go together with others.
very true. One follow-up question. I was talking earlier today, and I will not mention the city, but with a city that said, yeah, we have a very high digital maturity, so it's not for us. What would you say to them?
So EDIC is not only for the champion cities. So in fact, the toolbox it pretends to be a set of tools, not only for those cities that have a level of maturity high, would say. It's for every city. So cities that are less mature could take advantage even more than others.
Okay, very, very clear. And maybe based on your experience, was it easy to find? You were one of the founding members of the EDIC, right? But from your experience, any advice that you could give to colleagues from other cities?
Just do it. But it's like from advertisement from one of the sports brands. But no. But actually, beside this assessment tools and possibility to share, the EDIC and local digital twins toolbox offers like really practical tools and systems which can be easy implemented and adapted to the every city. And it's not about like only like theory or just a like relation. There's like practical things behind. So
I would just add to what Arnis and Ernesto said that also for the champions, the really front runners out there with digital twins, the EDIC will be able to offer, these are expensive things. They're expensive to develop, maintain, and also the immersive technology. We have, for example, here 4 projects that will develop immersive technology, which is really useful to enrich the digital twins. Generative AI on top. I mean, generative AI married with the digital twin is a fantastic combination. I think that will be even more powerful when it comes to engaging with the citizens and the urban planners.
Thank you very much. With that, I think our time is up. So if any of you still have questions, I assume they can come to either one of you for a follow-up conversation. Actually, I forgot to introduce myself. You can also come to me. So I'm Hilda. I'm in Deloitte leading all our projects, all our teams doing projects for European institutions. And together with my colleague Ines, who is also available for any questions. Yeah, we've been working a lot over the last years on local digital twins, smart cities, and so on. So always available for a chat. Thank you so much for being here, and see you soon.